Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Constant Brooks, and what episode we talk about the 29th week of the 95 experience, and what happened is that so you realize that we're getting group in tiers again. I made it to tier one, mm, somehow, some way. And that's the thing about tier now. I can't really tell if tier one is a good tier or tier three is a good tier as such. But at this point, I've been to tier one, tier two, and tier three. So I've been good, bad, and the ugly, whichever it is now. But um, so yeah, so what happened is that surveys are working out. What happened also is that I actually got two prizes this time around for having great days. Great, great. We're having perfect. We're like all the clients be like, okay, I love the way you handle this situation, and so I got two prizes for that. So I'm grateful for that. Grateful for that. And what else is I got two bonuses. So I start not the full bonus, but I got to start for the surveys. I got some for the bonus for the service, and then I got another bonus as well that I never thought I would ever reach. But what happened was that the stats actually changed, and they actually raised the bar for the stats, and I met that stats. But also, while I they raised the bar and I met that stats, I'm actually understanding, reaching the point where I can say, okay, I can actually work on it and actually get better at that stats. So that I can reach the original level that it was, the original um that I came in to see. I can actually reach that level, and then if I reach that level now, then that could be a consistent stats that I could just be like, okay, I have that in the bag and stuff. Yeah, so that's basically it. So I'm grateful for the fact that so my pay cycle this time around was really bank, and because I of that I could actually make lot more progressive moves this time around. Making, yes. So that now when we reach the end of the month, if we reach the end of the month, then we get updates on the progress that I could make, due to the fact of this progressive move of me actually just able to actually get the stats, working on the craft and actually be able to get these stats. So that's the thing where I say take the time to take the criticism and then work on the craft and then just put in consistent effort and then boom, over time, then you'll be like, okay, I broke this level. And when you broke the level, you understand what made you actually broke that level, then you can actually get the consistency. So that's how it goes. You take the time to actually learn. That's why I mentioned it pays to do the right thing. When you learn to understand what the right way, how to get the stats, then you can get it more consistent and be like, okay, yes, I got this in the bag and stuff like that. Then you can actually impart it to the company where it be like, okay, yes. Other people can actually be like, take these formula and be like, okay, yes, you and the quality of the work does not go down, but the incentive of the cost of the employee goes up because be like, okay, yes, if I follow this formula, I can do better, do the cause better, and then boom, because they're doing the cause better, they get the stats as well, and they're more motivated. That's how he actually brings up the company morale to make the company that I say, okay, yes, not the best company that I want. That's why things like that actually brings up the company morale and brings up it to another level. Mhm. That's basically it for that. The next thing is I'm still on the night shift and it's getting frustrating in the sense that the 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 night shift is really messing up my mojo. So I mentioned the fact that I actually unlocked this bonus as well, but night shift is really the frustrating thing is that sometimes some days I'm just because of the tiredness I'm just basically messing up some calls that I would have in the bag. Um, and that could actually affect the next pay cycle going forward. And so because what happened is that there has been changes to the system, and what happened because there are changes, there was a tool that we could use to actually track the stats so that I could see if I'm going to meet the stats or stuff like that. Because they changed the system, I'm not able to do that tracking, so I can't really tell of the certain progress that I'm making on a daily basis. Can only see like a synopsis of a certain time. So I have to actually focus on my instinct of doing the job well more. And then sometimes I can see where I'm slacking. I'm slacking due to my getting lazy and me not lazy but me slacking and then um the night shift, then doing it in the night and it's like it's yeah. So that's the thing about it. The the longer you go, the more you get comfortable, and then the timing. Like I said, the 9 to 5 lifestyle is really not an ideal lifestyle. You have to actually find ways to actually make it more ideal. You have to try to find ways, and it's not easy. You might do good at for a while, but then doing it every night and my shift hasn't changed as yet. Yeah, so it's really frustrating. And then what happened at the time for me, travel, come home, and then have to do this again. It really gets to you. Really gets to you. So that's basically one of the issue that I've actually focused on going to the next week as well. But other from that, grateful for the fact that I unlocked that bonus and boom, yeah, made a lot of big, made me allow me to actually make certain big moves again. Mm. So that's the thing where I mentioned you make the money to actually pursue certain goals and stuff like that. You're not chasing the money, you're chasing goals. And when you chase the goals now, then you know when you're chasing the goal, you know what you're doing with the money. So if I never got this bonus, like the money that I make, I could say make certain moves, may not because this, but certain moves again. What happened is that the moves that I made now would be like, okay, I could make this move the next pay cycle. What happened is that because I take the time to learn this craft and stuff like that, could make this move now because I unlock that level. So that's basically where incentive comes in. So yeah, so that's basically for this episode. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to the next episode.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page Reframing Mindset Podcast or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
Things again, to say, it's something that I was told and I saw, and it was one of those things that I'm gonna come. What I guess what I will mention will kind of make sense in another episode as well. But one thing I realized and one thing about the podcast is, I can just basically like document some of my dreams turn into reality. Because after a while, I can kind of forget how long that how long that dream actually took to came true. And why I say that is that perspective. Like what I realize is that how long, and I mentioned this before in an episode previously. Like you can forget how long it actually takes you to actually get a blessing and how fast you can actually look.